Zoe Fay-Stindt. They were simultaneously raised in the boondocks of North Carolina and a small village in the south of France. She's a 2017 Pushcart Prize nominee, and her work has appeared in Winter Tangerine, Gage, The Octilio Review, and Black Napkin Press, among others. After earning her bachelor's degree at Emerson College, she left Boston for a welcoming warmth of the heartland, where she has since served as program specialist for Clemente affiliate 3 Minds, organizing community writing workshops and finding new students for the adult college course. When she's not writing, you'll find her marbling at parakeets or eating peanut butter ice cream at Sweet Ritual. Okay, welcome, Zoe.
Hey. It's really hard to cry after everybody's piece and get up and say some words. But thank you to my mom for opening the open mic tonight. It's really cool to be able to read on the same stage as her. And yeah, she features on at least one of my songs tonight. But I turned 25 yesterday, so obviously, thank you, I got here and did it. So obviously I drank the better part of 3 bottles of champagne. Questionable decisions for a Thursday night, so everything hurts today. Forgive me if I'm a little slow tonight, but here I am. I'm gonna dive right in. How the world withers. Each morning I navigate sidewalks littered in birds, the left behind bodies of leaves gathering like headstones, the sun not meaning to fry but frying anyways, and all the peppers in the city shriveling. We let cantaloupe juice trickle and gather on our chins. We smooth stones between our fingers as if we could flatten them, send them out into the river's gone body, and imagine them dancing on water, drunk and uneven. We try to save the agaves, pull out their frozen and wilted limbs. The hyacinth melting at my window makes its last plea. The news ferments in our stomachs, cold altars building inside us, tiny planet replicas with cloud forests intact and unflooded cities waiting for raw knees. The mold of atonement gathers in the corners of our mouths, our tongues blackening, the earth's core softening. We crunch cooked lizards in the crevices of our sneakers. The world starts pruning like a finger or the pale underside of a deer on the highway's shoulder. The second one is called Swallow. I found the bird in the morning, feathers damped down and wet, her small body limp in my hands, eyes lifeless slits, alien head twitching. My neighbor handed me breadcrumbs, showed me how to tap her nose so she'd open, and I inched my finger, the crumb, closer to her indifferent beak. I hadn't yet learned the tenderness needed to nurse the dying back to life. The crumb went in and down whole, too big, unchewed in her clamping throat. It caught, took her, gave me my first swollen death. Google Docs is trying to make me edit this document. This third one is called Violence is No Linear Thing. Maybe it started with the bird, her beak stuffed too full already as I tried to revive her, pushing in more bread, holding the frail body that would go limp, a tender intensity I didn't know to soften. Or maybe it was later, I got Google Docs, please. Or maybe it was later, when I slammed my door and from cardboard stones built a fort to barricade myself from my mother, let loose my 2 gerbils and lost track of them, until easily my knee came down on the black gerbil like a clover, and he cracked, started twitching fast, so sporadic, and I was only 8, murdering already. The night you slid yourself into me, and my quiet nose, I surrendered. Small, flinching thing at 18, I had already learned to curb my reflexes after too many incidents of pushing too hard, too strong in my girlness, shoving my high school sweetheart backwards into the closet. Slowly, I trained myself. Learned to be soft, to keep hands clean, tucked behind my back. The night you slid yourself into me, am I not tonight? No, I stopped fighting. Let you fill me, curled up into one of the small, twitching things I had killed 10 years before. The young bird stuffed too full to speak. My fingers spread into your sheets as if they could raise something back up again. I grew up in North Carolina with my mom, and I had nobody but the kind of wilderness around me in which we lived to hang out with. So I would often go down to the river and hang out with creatures and talk to the heron who never talked back to me. But it was a really peaceful childhood, and I always keep the great blue heron near me at all times. So this one has the heron and my mom in it in a kind of dreamscape. Our heron. When the sun peels up from its shimmering line of end earth, the heron comes with her gray beak to doctor me. From the hot meat of my breast, she picks out the growing lumps and spreads them out to heal, stripped of darkness. She finds the plastic curve of my skyla, nudges its thin bones so it sits right, my uterus thrumming, my womb empty. She's done this already. Mom's vertebrae straightened, cracks filled in with Tar River water and mud, a sort of cob to build her strong again. The heron lays out clams and blue crabs for us. She finds dry driftwood, lights a fire, and we wet our fingers in the meat. While we eat, she hunts. Her long arms, cutting through the fog, brings back a sunfish to gulp before resuming her dig. She picks out the small bulbs from my neck, tosses them in the river, the minnows feasting on my sickness. Okay, I have 2 more, and one is sad, and one is pretty ridiculous, and hopefully a little funny, so I'll start with the sad one and work us out. My uncle, my mom's brother, was recently diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease in February, and we have slowly been working through that diagnosis. So this is for him. Letter to my uncle. In the morning, the sky opening into a blue you find only through a black vase lifted to the light, I still don't know how to write you. The days since I heard of your disease have bloated too full and long. What would I say anyway? I'm sorry you're dying. I wish you weren't. Can you feel it stretch through your fingers yet? In February, at our faux Thanksgiving, your arm was already wilting, hidden in your lap beneath the table. What about the fleshy tissue between your toes? Can you still wiggle? Here in the heartland, zebra mussels still infest the water, the whole town mad they aren't edible. Still, people cook them, try to disarm the toxic and make it nourish. Even the springs are infested, the source clotted up. I tell myself I'll plant a garden. The whole street fat on bruised tomatoes, our hands reeking of earth. I'll walk around with my fingers always lifted to my nose, your melting winter, come down here. I'll show you the turquoise skin under our canoe, take you to the parakeets, their tails spreading out like fans when flying, or on cold days, paired up on the wire, tucking a head under another's like the living do. Okay, this last poem is about a very unfortunate situation in my house in which I have a lot of cockroaches. And they have now woken me up 4 times by putting themselves on my body in my sleep. It's maybe the worst thing that's ever happened to me in the world. And I wrote this pretty recently. It's pretty fresh and full of, obviously, a lot of anger about these cockroaches. After my 4th cockroach wake up, how many times will God wake me in the middle of the night, drooling pillow, cratered face, with the horrible twitch of the roach's wings? I swear to Christ I'm going to lose it if one more crawling fuck puts his scum body on mine in the night, flutters those ruthless wings on the light fur of my arm, or nestles himself into my web of hair, bringing me to in a horror-drenched sweat. These breasts were not made as a country for your small body to roam. No, were not loosed as I crashed down into my sheets so you could climb mountains under a waning 4 a.m. moon. I've tried, really, I've tried wholeheartedly, wanted to cup you lightly, without snapping wing or foot, to let you loose, watch you buzz back out into the night from my front porch. But God, fuck if I will keep this coffee mug ritual with you, grinding your hands all over me each night.